Well, greetings from the apocalypse. So in this video, I'm going to show you putting together a silver pendant. And there's a lot of different ways to do anything, of course, but I'm going to show you some of my favorite methods for soldering silver together without having to do a lot of cleanup, or in certain cases, any cleanup at all.
So I'm going to make some nice fat solder balls because you want to have them just ready to go, because you really have no way of knowing when you do stuff like this, like, will it take one? Will it take four? Who knows?
Can I get a close-up of the piece?
Yes.
You can do an intro.
The Deathly Hallows.
There it is.
Okay. So we're only going to concentrate on one seam at a time, but I'm going to flux the seams where I'm going to be working, because with any luck, they'll stay clean enough that I don't have to stop and pickle before I go to solder there. Depending on how much you heat the piece, it doesn't always do it, but there's nothing worse than being like right in the middle of your groove and you gotta stop and pickle and, you know, forget that nonsense. Nobody's got time for that. Okay, so I'm gonna dry the flux off a little bit, and basically I'm just gonna start on one of these two sides and fill it and go to the other one, the other one, the other one. That was a fascinating narration, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
The other one, and then the other one, and then the other one.
And then the other one.
I have a gift. Just thinking about ochring the other seams, but I think I'm going to live a little dangerously and see what happens. So I've got one bowl of solder, it's touching both sides. Basically I have to heat both sides, and when it gets good and hot, it'll just suck right in there. But, you always have your tweezers ready to go, because you know how the solder moves around and the flux and things and whatever. So normally with stuff like this, I'm always have the torch in my non-dominant hand, and I got my tweezers ready to deploy. Because that shit will move at the worst possible moment, and that is the one thing you can be sure of. Oh yeah. Yay. So that side's done. I'm going to fill in the other side, and then I'm going to let you do top and bottom.
Great.
Okay?
So did that get burnt on that side because it was up in the air, so it heated faster? Is that what happened?
No, there's solder here, and the solder is going to
Oh,
oxidize, so
that's
it's
what
dark,
happened.
but it didn't reflow, so...
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, solder has more copper and whatnot in it than regular metal does. It also could mean that that's the area where you filed, so that's freshly exposed metal.
Oh.
And you know how like you heat and pickle and you get that skin? So like the skin was removed there. That sounds super gross, but
No, I mean
but that's what that is. Like as I'm telling it, I'm like, wow, this is gross, but yes. Okay. And you notice when I was heating the other side, like I'm really positioning to heat it both, because they're both big, thick pieces. Because if they both get nice and hot, that gap there just wants to suck that solder in. Oh, yes.
So for the top, would you put it right at the tippity, like right where all of those pieces meet?
Why, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would. I would do it just like this. Let me show you.
Is
Don't
there
inhale.
Risk, okay, is there a risk of it flowing to one side and not?
Only if I heat to one side. but I'm gonna have my tweezers. So
Okay.
do you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not gonna put up
Yeah.
with any bullshit like that. So if
Okay.
it starts going somewhere I don't want it, I'm gonna poke it.
I'm gonna come around because somehow your tweezers always end up right in front of the solder in the video.
I have a gift.
Oh, much better.
See what I mean? Now, at this point, I would stop and pickle because we've gotten to the stage there where we've definitely got some goo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some excess flux.
Okay.
So just let it cool, pickle it, and then we go right back to it.
And
But
would you, I guess I could tell if I need to add to any of those sides, but then I would definitely do the bottom just right
these don't
now.
need any more. These are 100% filled.
Okay.
This, I would add one more piece in the identical spot.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? And then down here, probably only need one piece, but
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
happy to come and give it, you know, the dirty look. Okay?
Yep. Thanks. Okay.
So we've got our frame all together. We've got our bezels both pressed down into the magnesia block at the right height. I pressed them both down in using a large dowel so that I know they're sort of aligned with each other. Because we want all of our soldering to happen on the back, because even though, of course, we're going to do a beautiful, lovely job, it's always nice with something like that to hedge our bets. You know what I mean? So the front stays really nice and pristine. I put flux on both sides, just like I did before. I'm going to dry it, I'm going to solder one side, and then I'm going to go ahead and solder the other side. And it's really going to be the same kind of thing where I'm going to use a ball of solder and stick it in there, and then I can always just add more if I need it.
Okay.
Now what the solder is going to want to do is to just run onto the bezel because the bezel's smaller. So I'm going to have to try to concentrate on heating this center bar here as much as I can and have my tweezers there to poke it if necessary.
I can see.
Okay, so it's touching both. Trying to decide whether I want a smaller piece of solder, but as Alexis eloquently said before, fuck that. So I'm going to be pointing my flame more down so that I can be heating the framework more. Oh, there it is. Mwah.
Looks like it went perfectly.
It was beautiful. Okay. And then dip it in a little fresh paste book. Stick it right here. Solder flowing is one of the more satisfying things in the whole world.
And then it goes where you want it to go.
Yes. That's why we work very hard at getting it to do what we want it to do. To be a jeweler is to be a control freak. There's no denying it. Yay.
Amazing. Do you think it'll need more,
No,
No.
I do not. You can like let it cool and pickle it and take a good look at it, but I can see from the side it's filled in enough. But of course, there's always that like, let it cool, pickle it, we'll take a look at it, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, if I thought it needed more, I would put it in right now.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Generally speaking, when you have stuff in there in just the right spot, now in theory it's held in place, but ideally, if I wanted to add more, I would do it right now rather than take it out and try to get it set up again at like exactly the right height and, okay?
That makes sense.
So I'm gonna pull it out, let it cool, pickle it, and we'll see what's what. But actually, Alexis, if you want to try to get in there a little close, if you look from the right angle, you can really see that they're very well filled in. But don't touch it because it's hot.
So as a next step, would I put the jump ring on and then clean everything up, or would I?
I would clean everything up and then put the jump ring on.
Okay, got it.